everyone, this is Icy Boo 487 and this is my drawing progress episode 3. The last time I made one of these was 6 years ago. Yeah, 6 years ago. These were going to be on my Dark Siren Games channel, but I think I'll leave that channel to speed paint videos, fan art, and my visual novel development YouTube videos. I am a totally different person than I was back then. Lessons learned over the years. I downsized from dreaming of working in a huge team of people to having the reality check of realizing that working with just one or two dedicated people was fine and far less stressful. Number 2, I have more joy speaking about my work online than face to face, especially since the, real life zombie apocalypse is just absolutely terrible, and talking face to face could actually mean death for anybody. Number 3, with that said, I have found people within driving distance who are actively creative and not professional procrastinators. If you hung out in my area, you would have the impression that people ditch all creative hobbies once they turn 30. That doesn't matter how much debt they've acquired, believe me, from art school. Me discussing these 3 points have triggered people so badly offline that I've created multiple dumpster fires around former creative friends alike. They are still my friends, it's just that their drive for making dreams come true had died with a capital D, and any mention of drawing, writing, or anything remotely creative just turns into arguments. Loud arguments. So, number 5, lastly, I realized that I'm putting too much effort into my videos to the point where I stress about how am I going to make the video, and then I end up dreading making the video, but when I sit down and I make the video, I realize how much fun I'm having, and I don't need to be perfect. Say all that first before moving on, because life is a physical and mental journey no matter what you do in life, even drawing or writing. As I begin putting things out there, I realized that I learned more about others and myself. Like the fact that not using a pen name for my ebook didn't screw me over at my previous work or damage any of my offline relationships. There are things that are in that book that should be a cause for concern. But no, all my relationships are absolutely fine since the release of that book. I guess if I was writing erotica, I'd use a pen name, but I won't be writing erotica at all or anytime soon. This is my DeviantArt. I don't use DeviantArt anymore. DeviantArt is a place where artists are sharing their art with other artists. While there's so many, diverse people on Instagram and Twitter who don't draw. I might make a blog up here on DeviantArt saying where you can find me now, since I'm pretty much ditching the website, and then that'll be it. This is my pixiv.net. This is where I post my artwork. This website is mostly used by the Japanese. I was curious what Japanese people would think about an English-speaking person posting on their website. I actually get more views here than DeviantArt. I also got a couple of nice comments as well. The website has tutorials and a lot of good art. I used to study Japanese like a few years ago, hence why some of my tags are in Japanese and some of my titles from the beginning were in Japanese. If I kept up with the language, I have a lot of good tutorials to learn from. My Japanese has downgraded to basic elementary crap, so it pretty much sucks. I'm pretty sure I could read a whole lot more on this website if I had kept up with the language. Maybe I should get back to it someday. There's also other non-Japanese artists up here that do post their art, and they translate all of their titles, all of their descriptions, all their tags, whatever, into Japanese as well. It's just nice getting a different perspective, basically, and seeing what people from the other side of the world think about your artwork or wherever you post. Because Twitter is where I also post my work, Dark Siren Games for my fan art and original work, and then my Icy Blue 487 for more personal work. And there are some good Japanese artists up there. And I'll show a couple of pictures, and then there's also this few pictures from this woman that deleted her account like a month or two ago. A lot of these Japanese artists also post tutorials from time to time, which has definitely helped improve my anime art. Japanese artists use Paint Tool Sai a lot, and I decided to migrate to Paint Tool Sai because my laptop is old, needs to be replaced, and it cannot handle Photoshop anymore. When I use Photoshop, I can't zoom anymore because I can't remember there's a message that comes up that just says I think it was like graphics card or something, I don't know, says it's not working properly, so you can't zoom anymore. So anyways, this is my fan art that's on the screen. I used to think drawing fan art was so boring. Honestly, I wanted more views so I could get more comments and discussions and meet more creative people. And it's working for my Instagram and Twitter accounts. Sad reality is that fan art of well-established characters will always attract more people than a nice drawing of an original character. I'm only drawing fan arts of characters that I really like, which means that I'll be drawing a lot of evil or antagonist characters because I generally don't like protagonists in most shows, video games, etc. This has always been a thing with me since I was young and watching Disney movies and just really despising the protagonists of those movies. So these are also my original artworks that I have done. I'm focusing more on cell shading before I move on to blending, since I'm not confident in placing shadows yet. I think I've improved more on my digital art versus the past. I'm currently working on facial proportions through the Riley method. This complicated diagram shows me exactly where I need to put things into place. Are there too many lines? Yes. Is it a time-consuming process to learn this diagram? Yes. Does it help me out? Yes. Thankfully, there are a few YouTubers that teach how to draw this style, which makes things a whole lot easier for me. Speaking of YouTube, I have a friend who taught himself how to draw through YouTube videos. This is an example of a drawing he made in Procreate, and this was just him messing around with Procreate for the first time. If I remember, I'll post some pictures, post some actual finished pictures. If someone doesn't give a crap about forming offline connections that people typically form in college, they could easily use YouTube and artists' Patreon tutorials. Like I've said in the past, I use Sakimi-chan's Patreon tutorials, or any of the thousands of free tutorials available online pretty much right now through Google, YouTube, etc. They could easily teach themselves some really good skills and avoid being $30,000 to like $80,000 to $100,000 in debt. Well, if you're in America, that is. But that's pretty much where I am. That's what I wanted to show you guys. Have a nice day.